This is the 51st Maryland Irish Festival. We have 3 stages. Entertainment, we have 2 in the North Hall. They're on opposite ends. They alternate for entertainment. We have another stage in the South Hall where we have constant entertainment. And then we also have what's called Ports' Pub. It's a 30 by 50 tent that we have set up in the opposite corner of the South Hall stage, where we honor first responders who have died in the line of duty. It's named after Tommy Ports, who was our first honoree. He was a Baltimore City policeman who died while responding to a call.
That was Michael McConnell, president of the Maryland Irish Festival, taking place November 7th, 8th, and 9th in Timonium, Maryland. Hello and welcome to episode 123 of the Irish Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Becker. Michael McConnell will be my guest on the show today as we preview this year's Maryland Irish Festival. This interview is another example of content that we made available for members of the Irish American Baseball Society weeks ago in video form on the Community Network website. We have been working hard to keep the conversation going on the Community Network website. That's where you can go to talk Irish history, MLB playoffs, and to suggest nominees for the Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame. Right now, let's welcome Michael McConnell to talk about the Maryland Irish Festival. Thanks for being here, Michael.
Thanks, Rick, for inviting me to come on here.
First of all, this is a huge festival. Like, people might be used to going to their local Irish festival, and it might be impressive, and they might have some bands. It might even go a couple days. But this is a whole nother level, what you do in Maryland, taking over the state fairgrounds, which are quite hefty. So why don't you talk about all of the different things you have going on at this festival?
Okay, well, the best selling point for the festival, as you already said, is we are in the Cow Palace at the fairgrounds, which is a 4-acre size building, and we fill every square inch. Best thing about it is we are inside. So even though it's the first weekend of November, we don't care if it's raining, snowing, it's hot or it's cold. We're inside. It's much nicer. This is the 51st Maryland Irish Festival. We have 3 stages. Entertainment, we have 2 in the North Hall. They're on opposite ends. They alternate for entertainment. We have another stage in the South Hall where we have constant entertainment. And then we also have what's called Ports' Pub. It's a 30 by 50 tent that we have set up in the opposite corner of the South Hall stage, where we honor first responders who have died in the line of duty. It's named after Tommy Ports, who was our first honoree. He was a Baltimore City policeman who died while responding to a call. We have Irish rock bands, we have traditional Irish music, we have dance schools. It's a family-friendly event. There is a kids area. We will have moon bounces for the kids. There's going to be a face painter. There's going to be a balloon artist. We haven't definitely said it yet, but normally we have a freckles competition and a red hair competition. A few years we've had a kilt competition, younger and older divisions. Well, it's not fair for the 5-year-old cute kid to get up there with the 40-year-old guys.
Absolutely.
However, we have not broken it out to male, female. So we get a good mix of people in their kilts. We have Irish food and drink. We have Irish cultural exhibits. We have genealogical exhibits. We will have some Vikings who come out and show that their displays and talents and artistic stuff, because the Celtic and the Irish kind of came from a lot of the Vikings. We will have over 30 vendors there. One of the selling points for our vendors and for people who come to our festival is that we require, if you are a vendor, you are selling something Celtic or Irish related. So you don't get the roofing guy, the window guy, I'm going to redo your bathroom guy, that type of thing. It
Wow,
is
I mean, you're already giving me so much stuff, so I know that you could keep going on here, but just on a logistical level, as the president of this festival, you must start working on it. Maybe like what do you take like a week off after it's done and then start working on the next year's?
as scary as it sounds. Yeah, we all sleep for 2 or 3 days and then we start planning next year's festival. And for setup, even though the festival doesn't start till Friday, setup starts on Monday.
Wow.
It goes through Friday at about 4:30 to get everything set up. And the scary thing is, Sunday night at 6 o'clock, teardown starts, and we're out of there by Monday at 6 p.m. So 5 days to set it up, 24 hours to take it all down.
That is incredible. So I think that one of the things we've talked about a couple times, because I have had a lot of people on from Baltimore and different parts of Maryland
Right.
in the past year. And I think with the big behemoths of Philadelphia, New York, and Boston getting a lot of the attention for their Irish communities and Irish American communities, I don't think people realize exactly how prominent the Irish community is in Baltimore and Maryland as an extension. So, why don't you talk a little bit about that before we get back into the specifics of the festival?
Well, actually, part of that is the fact that, I mean, there are just a large number of Irish organizations in Maryland, and they're not all centered around the same thing. We have the typical, the AOHs and the LUHs that are here. We have the Friendly Sons and the Friendly Daughters of St. Patrick. We've got St. John's 10th Ward. 10th Ward used to be a heavily Irish neighborhood here in Baltimore. It's less so now, but they continue on their tradition. There's two different cemetery associations who still promote the Irish that are in their cemetery. Yeah, I mean, we have a huge parade for St. Patrick's Day. I mean, everybody thinks that Baltimore is the center. Annapolis is another huge area for the Irish. They have their own Irish festival. There's another Irish festival in Southern Maryland. And it was funny. I never paid much attention about Maryland's geography until I moved here and didn't realize that the southern part of the state goes halfway down to through Virginia. So they have a big festival down in Southern Maryland. The Irish cover the entire state down here.
That's incredible. It's so awesome to hear. I know that as somebody who lives in Pennsylvania personally myself, I've talked to people in Gettysburg when I visited about the Irish regiments who fought for the Union in Gettysburg. And a
Yes.
lot of the information that's available on them isn't through any organization in Pennsylvania. It's actually through the AOH in that part of Maryland, like just 15, 20 minutes south of
Yes.
Gettysburg.
Yep.
So it is definitely something that Maryland keeps its Irish heritage alive. And that's, this festival is just one of the ways to do that. When I look at the lineup that you have for the bands, like you talked about how many bands that you're going to have playing here, but talking about the number is a little different than talking about the quality, because you have a lot of the bigger known bands and better
Yes.
known bands of the Irish touring circuit. So, how do you sort of go about trying to make sure you have a nice mix of music? Are there bands that you have coming back pretty much every year, or each year do you look to try to mix it up a little bit?
We have the traditional favorites that everybody likes to see. The Shamrocks, Dublin Five, everybody's favorite loud Scottish band, Albinock. Um, we usually try to get them back every year. We rotate some of the bands every year because you can't always get the bands you want every year, and some bands just aren't available. The Screaming Orphans used to love to play our festival, but they now head back to Ireland the end of October, so they miss our festival now, which is a bummer because they were a major crowd favorite. And we just make sure that we have some local bands. As you said, we tried to get the bands that are rotating the circuit up on the East Coast. We try to get a mix of traditional and what we call the Irish rock, and some of the smaller guys around here. We've got a couple of single and just duos that play, and it's just a very interesting mix and a challenging mix to get everybody in. We get audition tapes and now YouTube video links from groups all the way up and down the East Coast, and it's fun.
Well, that's got to be one of the best parts of the job, right? I mean, I don't know if you have to sample all of the food, but at least sampling all the music has got to be a really good experience.
It is, and it's fun. It's a good way to evaluate some of the bands. We had a band last year called Sire. They closed for us on Saturday night. Up until last year, we had never heard of them, and somebody said, "Hey, I saw them at a show in North Carolina. They were awesome." We contacted them. They sent us a demo, and we went, "Yeah, you're back this year." And unfortunately, this year they weren't available. So those things happen. You can't keep everybody every year.
So, who are some of the bigger bands that you do have this year so that we can promote and not just talk about past years? Because we want people going this year,
Okay.
2025, to
Yep.
the Maryland Irish Festival.
All right. So this year we have Albanock, as I already mentioned. They are playing 2 sessions in the North Hall and 1 in the South Hall. They are playing Saturday and Sunday. I think their North Halls are on Saturday. The South Hall is on Sunday. South Hall is going to be fun because they tend to be louder there. Gaelic Mishap is going to be playing Bohemia, which is a pretty interesting band. Celtic Corridor, I'm interested in hearing them this year. I've not seen them in person before. A new band that we found these guys out in Pittsburgh, the Bastard Bearded Irishmen. I saw them, 4 years ago at the AOH National Convention in Pittsburgh, and I thought they were cool. And then somebody said, "Hey, I've heard of this new band." And I went, "Yeah, they're pretty good. Why don't we listen to them?" So they're playing this year. They're a new band. Kilmaine Saints are here. We're going to have Jameson, who does a lot of traveling around. Those are the big names. We have 6 Irish dance schools that are going to be participating over Saturday and Sunday. Each of them are scheduled for a 45-minute show, so that'll be multi-ages among the dancers.
And when we talk about how many Irish festivals there are in the area and how big the Irish community is, I actually saw a band earlier this year at the Penmar Irish Festival called the Diddley Idols, and you're going to have them there this year. I have talked to one of the members of the Diddley Idols. I did an interview with him. So you're going to either hear that or you have already heard that on the Irish Baseball Podcast when you're hearing this interview. So that's cool. If you hear that and you hear that interview, I definitely think that that might have you even more interested in coming and visiting when you hear about what they are doing.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
So when you put this together and you're trying to make it a family-friendly festival, so what goes into that? Do you really have to... Yeah, I just moved from Florida, and in the theme park world, there's a phrase 8 to 80, right?
Yes.
You know, there are some rides and some attractions that work for 8 to 80, and then there are some big roller coasters that maybe alienate some people. How do you work on trying to make sure a lot of your things are good for 8 to 80, or do you make sure you have enough for 8 to 12, 12 to 24, and 24 and over?
Well, we have one person that's dedicated to just the kids area, and they are the ones that will arrange the crafts. They arrange the blow ups. We also will have Irish singing lessons for young kids. We will have Buran lessons. There's going to be Irish storytelling sessions, so the stories will be there for multiple ages. And in terms of food, we will have hot dogs. We have cookies and milk, which is always a big hit with the kids. And for the adults, I know sometimes when I'm walking around, I will just stop and get a couple of cookies and a carton of milk. Different taste than walking around with a Guinness, but a lot of people will call Guinness mother's milk. So,
And then just so everybody is aware, we can talk about the pricing here. So online admissions have no processing fees. First of all, that's really important.
yes,
Active duty military with an ID,
are
you are
free.
free. You are
Yes,
not paying to go to this festival. Children under 17. So even though you're focusing on getting them all of this entertainment, they still don't pay.
correct.
Then Friday evening and Sunday afternoon, adults 18 to 64 are $18, seniors 65 and above are $10. Saturday all day long, this is the all day pass.
Right.
Adults 18 to 64 $25, seniors 65 and above $20. And then why don't we talk about this whiskey tasting session, because I think that's going to be a popular one among our listeners.
Oh, it's popular every year. They sell out. If you are interested in going, buy your tickets now. But it's a 45-minute to an hour session. It's done by an ambassador from Tullamore Dew. You get to sample. Usually it's four. One year they did 5 different Irish or Tullamore Dew whiskeys. I think they did like the 10, the 12, the 14, the 18, and the Phoenix. You get a souvenir shot glass that you get to keep. And they will talk to you about what goes into making whiskey, why the ages are different, flavors, different smoothness. And sometimes there's also a trivia question or 2 or 3, and get a question right, you win a t-shirt. And it's a very good time. People enjoy it a lot. And like I said, they sell out. We have never not had a session sell out I think this will be the 5th or 6th year that we've done one.
And then looking at the website, I know you already mentioned a couple of competitions with the freckles and the kilts, but there's also an open mic competition, a photo competition, and a limerick competition.
Yes.
So that's a really interesting way, I think, to not only display the talents of the people who are performing at your festival, but showing, hey, all of us Irish people have some talents that we'd like to share. So even if you're just attending the festival, you get to show off a little bit as well.
Yes. And actually, the winners of the open mic competition are invited to come and sing in Ports's Pub Sunday afternoon.
Oh, that's incredible. What a great idea.
Yeah, you could have your first public appearance.
So there you go. Practice up those pipes for the next couple of months, or next couple of weeks anyway, and get ready to be an Irish idol, I guess. So one of the things that I do like about this festival is the location is easily accessible. It is right off of I-83 in between Baltimore and York, Pennsylvania.
Yes. Yep.
And because it is on the state fairgrounds, and because there is a light rail station pretty doggone close to the state fairgrounds, they're used to accommodating a lot of cars.
Yes.
So did that go into the decision to hold it here? And how much do you find that the ease of access helps you continue to bring a lot of people every year?
Well, yeah, being able to get into the Cow Palace was a goal of ours for a good number of years. Before we came to the fairgrounds, we were down in the 5th Regiment Armory in Baltimore. And the biggest detractor to that is there were no parking lots anywhere too close because we were near state center. So they were all state government employee parking lots that we could not rent for the weekend. Coming out to the fairground, it's free parking. So you can come in, you can park. And the fact that we were outgrowing the 5th Regiment Armory Hall and the Cow Palace is just so big, it let us grow. The first year we were in there, we only took the North and Middle Hall. Now we take Middle, North, and South. And it's great because, like I said, it's free parking. Come on in. We also run 2 shuttle buses, or shuttle vans, I should say. They circulate around the parking lot, picking up people and bringing them to the front door, and then pick up the front door and bring you back out to your car. A lot of people like that because if you get there late, or if you get there and it's really busy, you may end up parking all the way up by the road, and we're all the way at the far back of the fairgrounds. And the light rail stop is a hop, skip, and a jump from our door. It's right because it runs right up the back side of the fairgrounds, and that's where we are. It's right along the back edge.
Yeah, so it's really easy to get out there from the city. It's really easy to come down from Pennsylvania. It's easy to come down from somewhere like New York or New Jersey, some coming over from Delaware. There is a lot of accessibility because 83 is essentially right off 95. So
yes,
if you can get to Baltimore, you can get to this festival and have a really, really good time.
Oh, yes. And we joke with people that you don't have to go to Baltimore to come to the Maryland Irish Festival. And that always gets us a good laugh because some people, it's like, I am not going to the city. Well, that's good because we're not there.
Right. And I do think that, having things in the middle of the city is great. I mean, one of the great things about Baltimore is that the ballpark's right there. There's a lot of stuff to do right around the ballpark. There's the aquarium, there's the Babe Ruth Museum, there's all that stuff. And I love that all that stuff is there. But sometimes, like you said, especially, a lot of times older couples just don't want to deal with driving into the city, finding a place to park. That is a big ordeal. And sometimes, like when you were at the Armory, like you might find that place to park, and now all of a sudden you're a mile and a half away from where you're going, and you are able to accommodate that by having shuttles and doing things like that on the state fairgrounds, things you wouldn't be able to do in a city setting.
Correct. And it's cheaper. Parking in Baltimore is outrageous.
That is definitely something to consider as well. I know we've done a pretty good job of selling this already, but one of the things, in addition to entertainment, food, vendors, is to just try to settle into a sense of community. I think a lot of times, especially when we're talking about preserving Irish heritage, I think a lot of people don't know in this age of social media where we don't have as many common spaces where we meet up and we don't have as many civic organizations and community organizations, that people are looking to find other people who want to celebrate their Irish heritage,
right?
Find people who want to do those types of things. And you mentioned that there are a lot of Irish organizations in Maryland. Your website shows that you work with a lot of local Irish organizations to put on this festival. So would you say another benefit beyond just the entertainment is the sense of camaraderie? Like maybe you will talk with the guys from the Happy Sons of St. Patrick and you'll be like, this is a place that I would, like to spend a couple of nights a year, socializing, or you talk to the local AOH or something like that.
Right.
Do you find that one of the important things about this festival is to build that sense of community?
Oh, yes, definitely. It builds the community. As you said, we have 14 different organizations who come out to the festival. and they all volunteer at the festival. So, and every organization has a different booth. So the Friendly Sons pour the beer. The AOH are doing ham and cabbage. Another AOH is doing corned beef sandwiches. So it's a good recruiting regimen for them. And you can talk to, I mean, we've got everything from teenagers that are members all the way up through 80-year-old people, as you said, 8 to 80. And it's great to talk to them all. We have a number of members who came directly from Ireland. A lot of us were born here in America. And besides just the organizations that are volunteering, we also have what we refer to as the 501c3 or the not-profit organizations. So things like the parade, the Maryland Genealogical Society, the Irish Railroad Workers Museum will be out there talking to people.
I love that museum so much. I am so happy that they will be there.
That is cool. And they are getting bigger, which is even better. But yeah, we all just, it's, you're right. It's camaraderie, it's community, it's everybody's Irish. Doesn't matter who comes to the Irish festival. Everybody gets treated like they're Irish. And it's just a big, fun, enjoyable party.
I do like that you mentioned that, though, that everybody gets treated like they're Irish. Not that we should treat people better because of their backgrounds or anything, but I like that you said that, because I know something that I like to do is if there's a local Greek festival. Well, I don't have any Greek in my family line.
Right.
But I like to go to the Greek festival. I like to look at their artwork. I like to taste their food. I definitely like to taste Greek food.
Oh,
and
yes.
You will go to a lot of these different celebrations throughout the year. A Juneteenth celebration, an Italian-American celebration. My old church used to have a Hispanic festival in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And you can go and celebrate other cultures, and in a city as diverse as Baltimore, I think you're going to find that a lot of people who aren't necessarily Irish, but they want to come and just experience the culture. And that's one way to really preserve things is, the Greek are never going to have a problem preserving their culture, because everybody is going to continue to go to Greek festivals. And that is such an important thing. And I think you develop a lot of stereotypes about different groups of people, but when you can see, like, okay, what's the purpose of the kilt? Or, okay, this Irish dancing looks strange to me when I'm just seeing a commercial for Riverdance, but when I'm watching people who have trained on this and they're doing it in person, I can really start to appreciate this. Like, I feel like these festivals can be used to continue bringing different groups of people together, not just bringing Irish people together.
Right. And that's what we strive for.
Especially in a city like Baltimore, which, like I said, is definitely so diverse. So, Michael McConnell, once again, why don't you tell people, first of all, where they can get tickets? Why don't you go over just some vague ticket pricing again? And, of course, give the dates so everybody knows exactly where they're going here.
All right. All right. Well, the dates are November 7th, 8th, and 9th. We are always that weekend in November. Ticket prices Friday and Sunday, 18 to 64 is $18. 65 and above is $10. Children are free. Active duty personnel with their ID will get in free. And if they want to come in on Sunday, I'll throw a plug for this. We have a veterans ceremony at 12:30 on Sunday, where we will honor all the veterans who show up, and we will honor all of the different divisions of the services that we have here in the United States. Friday, we're open 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday is noon until 6 p.m., but Mass is at 10:30 if you're interested in coming to Mass. Saturday, we are open from noon to 11. As I said, it's free parking. We have a shuttle running to take you from the parking lot to the front door. It's at the fairgrounds back in the Cow Palace. It's right off 83 on the York Road. Come up and take the light rail. The light rail exit comes right into the side of our building. You can't miss us. We are negotiating with Guinness. In past years, they have brought I think it's either 10 or a 14-foot tall, looks like a Guinness beer can. And we put that up on the roof. We had a problem one year where one of the local fraternities thought it would be fun to steal it. And they were successful, but they were dumb enough to put it out in the front yard of their fraternity hall. So it wasn't too hard to get it back.
And I just have one question. There's one logistical issue that I want to make sure that you've taken care of.
Yes.
Will everybody be able to get the Notre Dame Navy score on Saturday night?
We are going to have the game on TV live as it's being played.
I just wanted to make sure. I figured
Actually,
there was
two
one
different
thing,
TVs.
If there was one thing that was going to distract, I was worried that would be it. So I'm glad that you have that covered. I have an aunt in an Irish Catholic family who decided to get married the weekend of Notre Dame, Michigan. So her reception was a lot of people standing outside in the hallway watching a little tiny screen. So anyway, Michael McConnell, thank you so much and good luck with the festival.
Thank you very much. I hope to see you there.
As we mentioned in that conversation, I recently spoke to Dave Barco of the Diddley Idols, who will be playing the Maryland Irish Festival this year. You can see video of that interview on the Irish American Baseball Society Community Network website as well. The audio version of that interview will run on the Irish Baseball Podcast on November 3rd for episode 126. In 2 weeks, I'll be talking with another great Irish musician. Enda Riley is a Dublin singer-songwriter I saw perform and then met at the Penmar Irish Festival back in June. I'm Rick Becker, and this has been episode 123 of the Irish Baseball Podcast.